What's up, Razorcave Plus Some Scrubs? This is your Commish Bill signing on to attempt to make this video for the third time because things keep happening and it's wonderful. But here I am, and I am excited to talk about this week, minus the fact that Tevitt beat me, but we don't have to delve too far into that. But what we can't delve into is some high scores of the week. So, shout out to Trevin for just edging out Naycock for the high score of the week at a score of 140.4. And I think it's funny because Corey edged me out last week by point 0.4, so Naycock, be lucky you didn't play Trevin, because that would have been very frustrating. So let's delve into Trevin's matchup with Corey here. And Trevin, I think we all know that Patrick Mahomes is going to pull the weight of your team. Like, dude is a stud. Like, there's just no two ways about it. Doesn't matter who he plays, he's a stud. Emmanuel Sanders doing some work himself as well. He's done a lot better this season than I expected, and probably about the most fantasy relevant piece in Denver. But good to see him coming back from the injury strong, so good pick there. And Calvin Ridley, I feel like he's really tough to predict when he's going to have his big games, but he's, especially in a 3 wide receiver league, he's a great person to have. And Travis Kelce, benefit of being the tight end to Patrick Mahomes, but Kelce himself, even without Mahomes, he's just a straight up beast. It's definitely best tight end to own in fantasy. And Corey, man, I'm sorry. The fact that so quarterbacks rarely have, well, first off, fantasy players rarely have negative games, but much less a quarterback having a negative game. And the Drew Brees injury did not help. So I'm sorry. That just kind of sucks there. Sony Michel, I would have expected a better game from him, considering the freaking Patriots are playing a Little League team. My gosh. I'm pretty sure Arkansas is going to play Miami and actually beat them. That's ridiculous how bad they're tanking. Kenny Galladay, though, with the big days, so kind of the bright spot there. And even Larry Fitz, like he's a great flex play in a 3 wide receiver, 2 flex league. Like that's a great play. What's funny, Sammy Watkins had, I think, like 14 targets, but only hauled in like 6 passes or something like that. So I'm sure the pendulum will swing back his way. Although you got some depth on your bench there. A couple wide receivers with big days, and Frank Gore being the back there, at least for next week, because I believe Singletary is going to be out for at least this week, maybe longer. In my next matchup I have here, we have the Bearman matchup. And Andrew is the winner of this matchup, so congratulations for being better at fantasy than your brother. Make sure to rub it in his face. And congratulations on getting married soon. Like that's a big deal, man. Marriage is fun. So Mayfield with the kind of the meh day, but Bell looking pretty good being the bell cow there, even though the Jets haven't looked good, and it really sucks that Arnold is out for a while. Chubb with the pretty good day, and Julio being the high scorer of your team with his 2 touchdowns, and he had a touchdown later in the game that proved to be really good for him. So that's good outlook there. You survived the goose egg from Jeffrey, so good job to the rest of your team for pulling their weight. And Mark Andrews turning into kind of a fantasy stud himself. We're kind of seeing him break out, so that's cool. It helps a lot to beat people when you're tight end gets 21 points and your opponents get 0. So Daniel, I think you picked up someone, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay, that's why you pay $27 for Greg Olsen. You're like, I'm tired of this crap. I can also relate, as I have tight end woes in myself. Yeah, and AJ Green's still hurt there, and Gordon. I feel like you're just kind of waiting out here to try and wait for some of your guys to get healthy, or just be playing, in the case of Melvin Gordon. Next matchup we have here, Chris, congratulations on just edging out Justin by 1.3 points. So those are fun matchups. I think, I didn't realize Mixon had that bad of a day. That's bad. 4.2 points. Dalvin Cook is a freaking stud, though. He's looking like a top 5 fantasy running back, so fun to own him. And even Chris Godwin has been far outpacing Mike Evans so far this season, so that'll be kind of an interesting development. Maybe that's just how Arians' offense is focused so far, or maybe Evans is just getting the defensive attention, but great year for Godwin. Outside of that, kind of ho-hum days from people. So I see what hurt you, Justin. You played Ronald Jones, and he got zero point 0.9 points there. So I don't know what to tell you about that backfield situation because it keeps going back and forth between Peyton Barber and Ronald Jones. Russell Wilson with the pretty good day there. And the Big Ben injury did not help Juju's case, as I'm afraid they have good talent, but it's just going to be hard to get the ball in the end zone, and that's really what you're banking on in fantasy. Ertz with a lot of targets, Hilton hit a touchdown again, and DJ Moore's having a pretty good season so far. I say that. I'm not entirely sure what he did last week. 9 points. That's kind of ho-hum, but I like DJ Moore, although the Cam Newton injury kind of worries me a bit. And, this kind of hurts Justin since you have Peyton Barber on your bench and Antonio Brown and John Ross. So, you have wide receiver depth. Also, so Chris, you benched David Montgomery there. Gutsy call. But Mostert with the 22-point game on your bench, that backfield is going to be good, whoever actually scores, but it may be kind of hard to predict who's going to have the big games in that one. So Naycock putting the thumping on Travis this week. Dak Prescott with another monster game. Saquon going to Saquon. Zeke and Saquon are going to carry your team for sure. And big move for Odell. There had the monster game. So that's crazy. Njoku had 0 points, and yet he still almost had the high score of the week. So that's just a straight up flex, man. And even it's like you played the right players there. Travis, a little bit quieter game from Watson. I figured after what he did to the Saints, he would have a better day at home against Jacksonville's defense is good, but they kind of shut Watson down. Cooper had the big touchdown, though, if I recall correctly. So good week for him. And DK Metcalf, I've been really impressed with him so far, especially being injured right before starting the season, but he's actually done pretty well. So someone to kind of watch there. The Devin Singletary injury doesn't really help your roster there. And just Tyreek Hill being hurt just really kind of hurts your team. Although I do like me some Terry McLaurin. I like seeing rookie wide receivers that ball out when the season first starts. And I think that takes care of all our matchups, so we don't have to talk about anything else. Taking a look at the free agent auction report here. So Trevin dropping the big dollars on Demarcus Robinson for $50. I don't know if we've ever had a player that's gone for that high, because mine was like 40-something last week. So Trevin with the big buy there. Hope that works out, man. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be hard to predict when he has the big production there when Watkins had all those targets, but he had a massive game, and I will not second guess any wide receiver that gets to catch passes from Mahomes. So you do you, man. You do you. Corey also spinning up for a wide receiver with Aguilar. So I wonder, that's just so many injuries to the Eagles wide receivers there. So that one could do something. I mentioned Greg Olsen earlier. It's fun when you have a lot of bids on people. So Trevin also picking up Jamal Williams for $12. There are 4 bids on him. Jalen Samuels also had 4 bids. For the winner, that was $8 to Travis. So running back to that makes sense. It's just kind of fun to see that. And all right, I'll talk about our matchup, Tevitt. Enjoy your fun. Started out pretty well. Like Christian McCaffrey had a quiet night. That's not going to happen very often. And even Aaron Rodgers had that. He started off hot, but then just kind of didn't really do much after that in his game. So kind of not really goose egg from anybody. Kind of quiet, but what really set it off was the freaking Patriots. 35 points. 35 points. Defense, 35 points. Gosh, that's annoying. Lamar Jackson, man, I think Mahomes is pretty safely as the QB1, but Lamar Jackson kind of pushing himself up to the tier below him. Big day. Injuries really hurt me. David Johnson went out at one point in his game, so he had a quiet day. Deshaun Jackson, he's out for a couple weeks, so goose egg there. And then my tight end situation, I don't know what I'm doing in fantasy, apparently. OJ Howard with the 0 point game, and then TJ Hawkinson, who I paid a lot for. I was like, I'm gonna wait a week and see. I thought Howard would score more points, and it didn't really matter because Hawkinson only had one catch himself. So that's just ridiculous. I'm really curious to see the Rashad Penny situation with Chris Carson. I think he had a fumble or something like that, or maybe two fumbles, and Rashad Penny got a touchdown in there. So that's something I'm really curious to see how it pans out because they invested draft capital in him. Well, we'll see what happens. So that sums up the matchups for week 2. Got week 3 coming up here, so just make sure to set your lineups. We don't have bye weeks until next week. And as far as the recap goes next week, I think we will have someone besides me to do this. So if you're interested, just let me know and we'll kind of rotate these things so that everybody gets a little FaceTime. But this is your commish signing out.